Hello, I'm Joe Walensky, Program Manager for Seattle's annual User Experience Conference, ConveyUX. And that's coming up February 27, 28, and March 1. And I'm talking with yet another of our great speakers that we have visiting Seattle. And today I'm talking with Paul Tidwell. Hello, Paul. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me.
Well, it's good to have you involved. I'm talking from Blink's downtown Seattle office. Where are you speaking to us from today?
Sunny Austin, Texas.
Well, I thought that a good place to start would be for you to talk a little bit about yourself, how you came to where you're at right now, and then some of the things about your work at your current organization.
Sure. So I am Vice President of Technology for Project 202. We have offices in Dallas, Austin, and Seattle, and we are a software services company with a very strong emphasis on the needs of users. So not just developing systems, but we have UX designers and we have field researchers, a team that we call Experience Strategy and Insight, anthropologists and ethnographers kind of at the beginning of the process, go out in the field, see what users need, kind of in context to make sure that we're capturing things that wouldn't come up conversationally or through a survey or focus group, and then distill those through a synthesis process into opportunities for improved workflows, technology solutions, sometimes not technology solutions. That team collaborates with the UX team and my team to figure out, how we can build solutions to go out and solve those needs. So it's nice. It's as a development team lead and software architect, it's really fascinating to have, a big underpinning of data that helps us make smart decisions about user needs instead of just talking to business analysts or people inside the company who are either, already opinionated or, have some other means to derive what users' needs actually are. So I had the good fortune of being a client when I was leading the application development team for Charles Schwab and became friends with some of the leadership here. And over the 15-year history of the company, we originally were mostly just designing applications and have eventually moved towards design and implementation. Feel like there's a important relationship and healthy tension between the UX team and the technology team that as we're figuring out what it should look like and how it should behave, we should be cognizant of the technologies that we're going to use to build it and the enterprise systems that it has to integrate with and run on top of.
Well, I mean, that area that you're talking about, that dissonance between design and development, that's one of the things that we want to definitely address in our new development stream interest area at the conference. I'm sure you're involved in a lot of different things, always a lot of new technologies and processes to work on. Is there anything right now that's really caught your interest that you're excited about?
Sure. Yeah, I think the relationship between the creative teams and the technology teams is an interesting point for inspection. So we've spent a lot of time this year looking at design ops. So technology teams have been embracing DevOps, which is the kind of operational aspect of how we move code to production. So we're looking at opportunities to kind of expand the aperture of that operational pipeline to hand off between design teams and development teams. So, the ideal scenario would be a designer makes some changes to their sketch file, updates a font or changes some hex colors, and that they don't actually need to notify a developer, that we can operationally move those things to a staging environment. So a designer can change some colors and basically go see it running on a development environment. So it allows the designers and development teams to focus on their craft and delivering value instead of the more kind of mundane side of collaborating together as teams.
Well, I think that right there is a really important element to consider, and so I think that's setting up to be a good session presentation for a future event. Your topic for coming up at our February-March event is titled Native, Hybrid, or Progressive. So why don't you talk a little bit about what we can expect to hear from you during that?
Sure. So, when it comes to implementation, there's a lot of ways to build applications these days. And I think being really putting a heavy emphasis on user needs and working back from that allows us to be more pragmatic about the technology solutions that we choose to employ. So we've had a lot of experience here where, we've had to choose the right stack for a particular experience. And so, kind of tying those things together to make smart technology choices and also think about, how those technologies fit into an organization. The decisioning for that's important because it basically becomes part of your total cost of ownership. So, how to make smart choices based on, what it is that you're trying to accomplish. And probably a good example is we've had e-commerce companies come or retail companies come and say, hey, we need a native application for shopping, but they already have a really nice responsive web platform and you can shop on that. So what value are they adding by going and building a native application that does the same thing as their web technology? So, you can kind of shift the conversation to what's something sticky, what's something I want to install, or if it's a micro interaction, then a progressive web app might be the right solution because I don't have to do an install. So, how do we become intentional about making the right choices up front before we go and invest in technology and own that for the duration of the experience?
Well, I think that's it's just a great topic and relevant to many of us in this field. So I'll look forward to seeing that in when you're here in Seattle. So we'll see you in just a couple of months.
Looking forward to it. Can't wait.
All right. Thanks a lot, Paul.
Hey, my pleasure.
All right. Great. That went just perfectly.
Cool.
So yeah, thanks for taking the time to do this. Did you have any questions for me about anything while we're